Former US President Donald Trump said on Wednesday he refused to answer questions during an appearance before New York State's Attorney General in a civil investigation into his family's business practices, citing his constitutional right against self-incrimination. Trump, his son Donald Trump Jr., and daughter Ivanka Trump had fought unsuccessfully to avoid appearing for testimony in State Attorney General's probe into whether the Trump organization inflated real estate values to obtain favorable loans and understated asset values to get tax breaks.
Now that the discovery phase is concluding, the parties are going to line up their experts and get ready for trial. Again, Trump has tried to stop this civil lawsuit at every step. He's lost at the New York appellate courts time and time again. So now that he's been unable to get the case dismissed, I don't see settlement happening here for both legal and political reasons. So we're going to look at a trial, a public trial. Again, not the criminal trial that many want, but a civil one for the former president.
The Constitution's Fifth Amendment protects against self-incrimination. Trump's decision not to answer questions still could carry consequences. Should the investigation lead to a trial, jurors could take his silence into account. Politically, it also could give adversaries ammunition about whether Trump has sought to hide as he mulls another run for the presidency in 2024.
It's an important case, and the reason is that allegations are that Trump and his businesses submitted false documents in support of bank loans. That's a felony, but it could also be a civil fraud claim, and we're dealing with the latter here. Now, the really important issue is Trump's accounting firm has said that they have an actual conflict of interest. That leads me to believe that there's folks there who may be cooperating with the New York Attorney General, and as a result, there may be witnesses that are hostile to Trump and his businesses. Donald Trump can be looking at a civil judgment of 10 or even hundreds of millions of dollars if he is found liable for lying to these banks. So the monetary fallout could be significant. And to the extent that prosecutors who are watching this case very closely believe that there's evidence of a crime, and bank fraud is a crime, he may be looking at criminal prosecution as well down the road. And a lot of folks know that there's a Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination, and criminal prosecutors can't comment on that in a criminal case. But this is a civil case. Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, chose to file a civil lawsuit instead of a criminal prosecution. And in civil cases, an invocation can be argued by the plaintiffs that it means that the defendant is liable. Specifically, every state has what we call an adverse inference instruction that says that if you, the jurors, believe that a defendant invoked when he or she should have testified and denied the allegations, you can draw an adverse inference from that invocation, making it very different from a criminal case.
James has said her investigation has uncovered significant evidence that the Trump organization, which manages hotels, golf courses, and other real estate, gave banks and tax authorities misleading financial information to obtain benefits. Trump did not leave the Attorney General's office until about 6 hours after he arrived, suggesting he faced questions for much of the day. Trump, a Republican, in his statement again denied wrongdoing and sought to portray the investigation by James, a Democrat, as part of a year-long vendetta against him by her and others, including the news media. Trump attempted to link the state attorney general's investigation to Monday's FBI search of his Florida home, which represented an escalation of a federal probe into whether he illegally removed records from the White House as he left office in January 2021.
The most significant charges certainly would be those related to the January 6th Capitol riots. And if the Department of Justice picks up that case for prosecution, we know that they've convened a grand jury. The January 6th committee is making referrals to the Department of Justice, but we still don't have any clear evidence that the Attorney General is going to prosecute Trump for crimes related to January 6th. We know that there's an investigation because of the search warrant related to the Presidential Records Act and Trump destroying, flushing, tearing, and burning documents that were supposed to be maintained. That's a felony, certainly a less serious felony, but a felony nonetheless that's punishable by up to 3 years in prison. And again, does have that disqualification provision. One step lower is that civil lawsuit because there is no criminal penalty. There's no chance of Donald Trump actually going to jail. But a civil lawsuit is important nonetheless because witness testimony and evidence that comes out of that case could be used in a subsequent criminal prosecution. So it may just be the first step for those who want justice, whether civil or criminal, for Donald Trump.
A spokeswoman for James declined to comment on the deposition. A lawyer for Trump did not respond to requests for comment.